Confidence isn't the prerequisite, it is the side effect. Yeah. And this is episode 4 of the Power Code series. And today we get to go into the fourth step, which is E for embodiment. And this is one that changes the order of everything that you probably have been taught about confidence. Because I personally used to think that confidence would come first, right? And then one day that I would just wake up, and what would happen is I feel like that interpreter that I am, right? And that just the act of showing up will be it. But that's not what happened for me. Because I remember a period after I had made the decision that I was going to be that interpreter. And with that decision, I decided, okay, I'm just going to start writing it down, committing, smiling, episode 2, go back and watch if you haven't. I committed to it and I started doing all the mindset work that relates to that. And yet, every time I would walk into an assignment, I would still feel nervous. There was still doubt. And I would still wonder why I wasn't good enough because the feeling hadn't caught up with everything else that I was doing. And then one day it hit me, right, that I was waiting for confidence to give me the permission to act as the interpreter. And what if it worked the other way around? And so I made the decision so I took it to the test. Like, let's see this. So if confidence wasn't going to come first, like I thought and a lot of people think, I was going to act first and let the confidence catch up. That was the plan. So I started, just walking into rooms as if I already belonged there. And I'm not talking like not in like in an arrogant way or like I'm pretending now that I am. No, just carrying myself differently. How I was showing up in a way that I would introduce myself was different. How I would stand was different, and the speaking also. And here's the funny thing with all those things. Internally, I often felt exactly the same way. All those things with the nerves, the doubt, they were still there. The feeling of like, was still there. But what changed wasn't the feeling, it was what I did with it. Because the feelings were there. What changed was I stopped treating those feelings as instructions, like the map, the thing I had to do. I started treating them as the passenger. You can come on a ride, but you're going to sit in the back, right? So the doubt to sit on the back seat while I was driving the thing, I was like, I was on point. So it just didn't have the chance to get hold of the steering wheel anymore because I was now in charge, right? So it could come along, it could be there, it could come in for the ride, but it wasn't allowed to drive. It wasn't allowed to steer how I was feeling. Right. And I remember one of the leaving an assignment in those early days and realizing something because it wasn't like a magical thing that happened or I had suddenly become fearless in the process. I just simply acted like the interpreter. It was just like, oh, like the thought that I wanted to be before I fully felt like it. It was just that knowing, oh, wow. And the more I did that, the more natural it became for me to start being and showing up in that way. So here is a simple way to like just to understand what is happening and like what happened for me in that time. Because your body and your mind are always talking to each other. There is this correlation, it's happening without you knowing. And most people think that that feeling has to show up first. Like I have to feel it. Like you feel confident, so you can then stand confident. Like, but the work, it's the other way around. So changing how I stood, how I spoke, how how you move, how you speak, how you stand, your body sends signals to your brain that says, oh, we must be okay here. This feels okay. This feels right. This feels like what we get to do. And the brain starts to believe it. that this is how it is. And I'm sure you've probably heard this before. Motion creates emotion. You don't have to wait to feel something before you start moving like it is for it to be true. Moving like it's true is what helps you to start to feel it. Yeah? Because in episode 2, when I talked about the decision in the ownership, in the power code, everything else follows, right? And today, it's the action that comes first. The decision is in your head. You've decided that, okay, I want to be that interpreter. I want to do this. Now, the E aspect of it, the embodiment, is what happens when you then take that decision and put it in your body. You start doing it into your posture, how you stand, how you walk into the room, how you like looking, like how you relate. And I think this is where the identity really starts to stick in. Not when I believe it or when I've made a decision, when I behave as if it were true. When you start, when the action comes first, then the feeling is allowed to follow, right? And what I really want us to really notice, I want you to notice something. This isn't about walking into an assignment and like, or this is about every room. It is true for every scenario, every situation in your life. If you've ever waited to feel worthy before you walked into the meeting, into the conversation, into the opportunity you've always talked about or you talked yourself out of, because you didn't feel it, you didn't feel like you're there yet. So you kind of like, oh no, let me not. But when the feeling wasn't going to arrive first, you see, because it never does. You can't feel into it. You have to like act into it. So let's do something right now together. Wherever you are, sitting, standing, laying, whatever it is, I want you to just sit up. Like get your shoulders out, get your chin in, sleep, and just be present. Like that act of like, it's like when you're not sure of yourself, you're crunched in, you're feeling down, but when you're like present, like your shoulders are back, you're aligned. The way the version of you are becoming, like feel into that right now. How you are sitting, standing, wherever that is in that moment. Yes. Feel into it. That's it. You've got it. Now say it in this posture now. And I want you to say it out loud if you can. I don't have to feel ready to begin. Say it in that feeling, in that posture. I don't have to say it again. I do not have to feel ready to begin. Did you feel that? That is not pretending. That is action going first. Because now think of one thing. It could be the smallest thing possible. What you've been waiting to feel ready for, whatever that is for you. Take a moment and just think of, okay, what's that thing that I've been waiting to feel ready for? Is it the assignment to book yourself in? Is it like speaking up to the client? Like whatever that, or how you want to be treated, whatever it is. A question you have, a rate you need to increase, a no that has to be said, that has to happen this week. So I want you to do this before the feeling arrives. Don't wait for it waiting to feel ready for you now say that, do the accent, have the conversation, have that. Feel into it and then go for it. And if this landed somewhere for you right now, the free interpreter identity audit will be in the description box. And the identity research for interpreters waiting list is also open. You find that in the description as well. Because as we move on to episode 5, where we close this series of the power code, the R is the reinforcement. Because once this action, once we start doing action, it's not enough. What then locks it in? We get to lock it in for good. And that's what the next episode is about. And yes, it's all linked up again in the description. I am Nene, and we do this every single day because your voice matters and it is your time to use it. Bye for now.